Hey guys, today starts my Ford Park 4-day challenge. Today I'm starting here in Epcot. Gonna be riding a couple rides probably Frozen Ever After if possible, and maybe we're actually gonna tour around World Showcase and do some of the food and wine. So today is Epcot day, so I'll see everyone around. Well, as you can hear, we're right now in front of Frozen Ever After. Gonna jump on board to see Anna and Elsa. As you can see, it is 35-minute wait here at Frozen Ever After. Let's see how that 35 minutes holds up. And as you can see, there is some social distancing markers on the ground and some hand sanitation stations right here in front of Frozen Ever After. As you can see, they're not using all of the queue here in Frozen Ever After. As you can see, there's some plexiglass against the other when you get onto the boat. So it is pretty light here. It's not a 35-minute wait. I would expect this probably to be a 15-minute wait, but they might actually say it's higher because they might stop it for cleaning, so that might rise the wait time. So as always, you have to wait maybe 15 minutes for them to do a full cleaning of all the rides. But as you can see, it's pretty much light here in Frozen Ever After. As you see through the window, there's a cast member holding the cleaning agent.
Thank you for visiting us today. Just a few reminders. Please wear a face covering. Clean your hands often and thoroughly. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing, and maintain physical distancing. Thank you.
Once you get off Frozen Ever After, there is some hand sanitizing stations to clean your hands. As always, there's so many hand sanitizing stations that's unbelievable. It's basically like trash cans how far the hand sanitizing stations are away. For those wondering, the cleaning agent is actually hydrogen peroxide and water. They actually run the ride a few times, so it does not you don't really get that much anything, or really it's not that wet after you get on. So basically, if it's a water ride, you're gonna get wet, like Frozen Ever After. But if it's like Spaceship Earth or any of the dry attractions, you shouldn't be getting any wetness from hydrogen peroxide and water. So if you're allergic to hydrogen peroxide, then it's better off to just stand out and just walk around, or don't even come as of right now. But pretty much it's just hydrogen peroxide and water. For those wondering how the crowd levels are, we're right now in front of the wall in front of Spaceship Earth, right outside where the old fountain used to be, basically in front of the sign for International Food and Wine. As you can see, I just realized there's actually social distancing markers underneath the tables, so the tables stay put. As you hear from the background, there is characters coming. I believe it's going to be the princesses coming down World Showcase Promenade. Hey Goofy! Hey, it's Pluto! Hey Pluto! Hey Mickey! I like you out. I like your smile. As you can see, Mickey and Minnie are right now passing in the Mexico Pavilion, and Pluto and Goofy are leading the path. As you can see, they exit out of between Norway and China. I'm a pig. Let's go eat. Well, as you can see, I am right now in the Italy Pavilion, right in front of World Showcase, and it's pretty much dead here. Not dead, but pretty much light crowds here at Epcot as my 4-day challenge continues. Right now, I'm trying some foods around Epcot's International Food and Wine Festival, and that'll be coming up in another video coming soon. I'm going to try it early in the festival season. That's what I'm trying it now, and then later in the festival. So stay tuned for that video. Hey, bird. What you doing? What you doing, bird? Hashtag birds in the parks. Well, here's a quick tip that you might not know, is if you see some commotion going on between China and Norway, be on alert, because there's characters going to be coming around the World Showcase Promenade. Actually, someone from out of state came down here for the reopening of Disney. She quarantined for 2 weeks. She's actually from New York, and we'll be quarantining 2 weeks back when she goes back up to New York. It is Demi from the Disney Kitchen. Demi, since everything started going to basically to poop, how do you feel about coming down to Disney and seeing it start spiking up right before coming down to Disney?
Well, I did have a moment where I was like, well, actually longer than a moment. It was really the first time that I had to come to Disney, and I didn't want to come to Disney. So yeah, it really definitely made me second guess things, but still came, I guess. But that doesn't mean you have to.
Yeah, I agree. Disney is. How do you feel about Disney? What Disney's doing to keep the parks open at the moment? Because I know Hong Kong just recently closed down, and Disneyland isn't expected to be opening anytime soon. So how do you feel about Walt Disney World staying open? And how do you feel about how do you feel safety-wise, basically?
Well, I think Disney itself, all of Disney World, the cast members especially, have been doing an exceptional job. And they're still working things out, and but the reservation system definitely helps. I'm very conflicted because on the one hand, I would stay home. I only came for my channel. I would stay home, but on the other hand, unemployment was running out in Florida. Florida is just a mess, and a lot of cast members they didn't have any income, so they really needed to get back to work. So this is what I'm hearing from some cast member friends I know. So it's very conflicting, because you want people to be safe, but you also want people to be able to live, right? But Disney itself is doing exceptional. They're constantly cleaning. They're constantly yelling at you to social distance. Really, it's just the people you need to watch out for, because people are people.
Yeah, people are humans, and they sometimes forget. Since you've been down to Disney, I don't know if you've heard about the spiking in the cases, but we've actually reached about 15,000 since yesterday down here in Florida. So what are you now thinking about leaving? How do you feel since leaving and going back up to New York?
I can't wait to get out of here. And New York has a requirement to stay 2 weeks in quarantine. Even if it didn't, I would. I try to think of everyone around me. I'm not even going to be going near my husband for until I get a coronavirus result test back, which I have scheduled for tomorrow when I get home, because it's something that people aren't taking seriously enough. People aren't wearing masks, and Disney is making you wear a mask, which is great. But even so, when I was walking around Disney Springs, you can pull your mask down if you're drinking something, and it just gave a bunch of people an excuse to just walk around holding a cup with their mask down, and that's not what you're supposed to do. And wearing a mask can save a life, and if you don't believe that, you're very wrong. And I'm gonna tell you right now, because I tell you the truth.
Yep, she does tell you the truth. So this is Demi from the Disney Kitchen. She'll be leaving today to actually go back up to New York and quarantining for 2 weeks, and she's upset, but she'll be back at Disney since she's an annual pass holder. So we'll meet up again in the future. So I'll see you, Demi.
Bye.
Nombre is here at American Garden Theater. Here, as you can see in American Gardens Theater, there is the schedule for Marashi Combre and Jaminators. It does not look like Voices of Liberty have returned yet, but here's hoping that Voices of Liberty do come back. It is different. This hands-on testing station right here is a little bit different. It is foot pumped, not hand pumped or electrical pumped, but foot pumped. As you can see, my foot is right there. And as you can see, they're not doing the oyster and the pearl right now. So if you come to Epcot, do not look forward to this. As if you look forward to this, you won't be able to see it here in Japan Pavilion. Frothy ramen.
It's really good.
As you can see, I have some frothy ramen, not frosty, frothy ramen. Let's try it. There's some foam at froth on the top. This is actually from the International Flower and Garden Festival. So let's see how it tastes. That's what I need, a fork. I was gonna try eating with my hands, but definitely not a good idea. So here is the pork belly. As you can see towards the west, it does look like clouds are forming over towards the Gulf. Will it rain on us? Will it be downpours on us? Only to find out. I'm right now in the France Pavilion, heading towards what should have already been open, the new Ratatouille attraction in France Pavilion, as you can tell. But it does not look like the France or Ratatouille will be opening anytime soon now, as there's still a wall around it and still construction is occurring. As you can tell, Remy is standing outside and saying, "What about my ride, Disney? What about my ride?" Well, his ride is still being built at the present moment, so he'll be happy, hopefully in the fall or in the winter time when his attraction reopens. As construction was stopped about in March, and maybe, I don't know if it has continued.
Just a few reminders. Please wear a face cover. Clean your hands often and thoroughly. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing, and maintain physical distancing. Thank you.
I don't know if the construction has continued yet or has been started yet, but his attraction is coming. It's being built, so hopefully we'll be able to ride it very, very soon. Well, as you see, the friendship boats are still going across the World Showcase Lagoon. So if you really want to use the friendship boats, if you really want to use the friendship boats, you can use it. It won't be going to Disney's Hollywood Studios to Epcot, but they will gladly transplant you from the entrance to World Showcase all the way to the Morocco Pavilion. Well, it's some hashtags birds of the parks. Oh, and a little rabbit behind him over here in front of the Canada Pavilion. So hashtag birds in the parks. As you see, Belle, Aura, Snow White, and Jasmine. Well, as you can see, another play area closed here at Epcot due to reasons. It's all shuttered down because of the reasons of COVIDs. Well, it looks like the theme parks are basically the theme parks are very empty right now. It's right now about 7:02, 2 hours before park closure. I'm gonna take a look at Soarin'. Maybe it's a walk-on, maybe it's not. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be a walk-on. There's some thunderstorms in the area, but it is pretty. First, I actually left the theme parks for a little bit. I had to actually drop someone off at the airport. I came back. It was dry at Epcot, and then I came back, and then it was rained. I was like, where'd this rain come from? But it was basically within that half hour to 45 minutes. It poured over Epcot and then it dried out. It was like, not really dried out, but there's no more storms in the area. Hello. All right, thank you. Pretty much easy. Social distancing markers, as always. I've showed you most of the attractions here. I just showed you in the earlier part of the video of what Frozen After is like. Pretty much the same thing. We've given you what the fluid is like. It's peroxide and mixture of peroxide and water. So if you're allergic to peroxide and you feel, actually there's a TV screen on. I don't know if you saw that, but there's a TV screen going. Looks like they've turned on some of the TV screens. Just shows clouds. Yesterday it was pitch black on Soarin, so it looks like they might be using the TV screen, not screen, but basically just showing something. And just showing basically the logo for Soarin. Pretty much a walk-on for Soarin. During the summer, this is usually 40 minutes. But because of what's going on, it's pretty much light here. I walked around World Showcase, did the most of the Flower Garden, not even Flower Garden anymore. Kind of feels like Flower Garden since that just ended roughly.
Thank you for visiting us today. Just a few reminders. Please wear a face covering. Clean your hands often and thoroughly. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing, and maintain physical distancing. Thank you.
It did feel like Flower Garden because some of the festival, as you can see, it's just basically a walk-on for Soarin. It's a great attraction, usually 40 minutes. Now it's a walk-on. Hello, how are you? Good, thanks. I'm doing excellent. It's fun being back. All right. Thank you so much. Straight onto Concourse C, as you can see. See, as you can see. So, pretty much a walk-on, right? Basically a walk-on, because no one's straight in front of me. Pretty much low crowds here at Soarin. Basically just walked right through. Not really right through, but basically walked into the pre-show area. So, I'll see everyone later. Off Soarin. And the smells are working. I got off Concourse C. This is the only one. Concourse C, interesting fact, Concourse C is the only one you can hear the sound of the smell coming out of it. So if you ever want to hear or know when the smell's coming out of it, ask for Concourse C. They might be able to assist with that. Ask one of the cast members. But Concourse C did have the smell, dirt smell. I believe there's Taj Mahal or one of the religious symbols. And what's the other one? The ocean scene. So if you ever see that, if you ever want to know where the smells are, those are the three scenes that you can smell it in. The merchandise section here at the end of Soarin is presently not selling anything, so if you want to get some of the memorabilia within the land, unfortunately no place to get it here at the land. Well, this is brand spanking new. I didn't see this yesterday. There's some now actually glass, not plastic, in front of some boats. Looks like they might be actually adding it. As you can see on the next boat, there's no partitions like that. So, looks like that's being added as soon as possible.
To help us maintain these carefully controlled ecosystems, and for your safety, please remain seated in your boat at all times.
As you can see in the boat ahead, there is some plexiglass, plexiplastic barriers between each row.
Welcome to our living laboratory, where scientists from Epcot and the U.S. Department of Agriculture are exploring innovative ways to produce bountiful harvests now and into the future.
Look who is beyond me. Where is everybody? Did they jump off the boat? I don't know. You better keep an eye on them because there's nobody else on the boat with me. That's why. Nobody decided to come back on the Living with the Land. It's the greatest ride here at Epcot. So you better check it out. Well, that completes day one of our 4-day challenge. We completed Epcot. We did as much as possible at International Food and Wine Festival. So that video will be coming up soon. And we will be back tomorrow for Disney's Hollywood Studios. possibly Rising Rise of Resistance, and Mickey's and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll also see you in the parks.
Thank you.